Deep beneath the Earth's surface, hidden from the eyes of modern civilization, lie secrets that have baffled historians and archaeologists for centuries. Imagine stumbling upon a tunnel so precisely carved, so impossibly ancient, that its very existence defies everything we know about the people who built it. One such discovery was made in the dense jungles of Central America, where researchers uncovered a network of underground passages stretching for miles, lined with intricate carvings and artifacts that suggest a purpose far beyond mere transportation. Who built these tunnels and why? From the winding catacombs beneath ancient Rome to the sprawling subterranean labyrinths of Turkey's Derinkuyu, humanity has left behind a legacy of underground marvels that challenge our understanding of history. These tunnels aren't just relics of forgotten engineering, they're portals into a world of mystery where every turn reveals new questions. Was it for protection, a secret religious ritual, or something even more profound? Some of these passages are so precisely aligned with celestial events that they hint at knowledge far ahead of their time. Others contain artifacts so strange, so out of place, that they've sparked theories ranging from lost civilizations to otherworldly visitors. Today, we're embarking on a journey to uncover 20 of these enigmatic tunnels, each with its own story, each more puzzling than the last. We'll explore the eerie silence of Bolivia's Puma Punku tunnels, where the stonework is so precise it seems cut by lasers, and descend into the echoing chambers of Scotland's Rosslyn Chapel, where whispers of hidden Templar treasures still linger. Along the way, you'll witness the brilliance of ancient engineers, the stubbornness of modern explorers, and the spine-tingling theories that keep these mysteries alive. So, if you're ready to step into the shadows of history and confront the unanswered, stay with us, because what lies beneath might just rewrite everything we thought we knew. The Derinkuyu Underground City is not just a tunnel, it's an entire civilization carved into the earth. Nestled in the rocky heart of Turkey's Cappadocia region, this sprawling subterranean labyrinth descends nearly 200 feet underground, with enough space to shelter an estimated 20,000 people. Built over 2,500 years ago, possibly by the Phrygians or later expanded by early Christians fleeing persecution, its purpose remains as layered as the city itself. Picture 18 levels of interconnected chambers, including living quarters, stables, churches, and even wineries, all hidden beneath the surface. But how did an ancient society manage such a feat? The engineering is nothing short of masterful. Narrow passageways could be sealed off with massive, rolling stone doors, each weighing up to 1,000 pounds, effectively locking out invaders. Even more impressive, the ventilation shafts that stretch all the way to the surface, ensuring fresh air circulated through every level, while dozens of wells provided water. This wasn't just a temporary hideout, it was a self-sustaining fortress designed for long-term survival. Theories about its use are as deep as the tunnels themselves. Some believe it served as a refuge during wars and invasions, a place where entire communities could vanish underground for months. Others suggest it was a sacred space, with its chapels and baptismal fonts hinting at hidden religious ceremonies. And then there are the more chilling speculations. Could Derinkuyu have been built to withstand something far more catastrophic, like an ancient apocalyptic event? What's undeniable is that this underground city challenges our assumptions about ancient ingenuity. The precision of its construction, the foresight in its design, it all points to a level of sophistication that rivals modern engineering. And with only half of Derinkuyu excavated so far, who knows what other secrets might still lie buried in the darkness? From the depths of Turkey's ancient refuge, we travel halfway across the world to another underground marvel, one born not from antiquity but from the desperation of modern warfare. The Cu Kai tunnels of Vietnam stretch over 150 miles beneath the jungle floor, a claustrophobic web of passages so narrow that most adults would need to crawl on hands and knees. Built by Viet Cong fighters during the Vietnam War, this network wasn't just a hiding place, it was an entire subterranean city, complete with hospitals, weapon workshops, and even command centers. What makes these tunnels extraordinary isn't just their scale, but their ruthless efficiency. Every inch was designed to confound and trap the enemy. Entrances were camouflaged beneath termite mounds or concealed under trapdoors so small they seemed invisible. Air vents disguised as natural anthills dotted the jungle, while false tunnels led to dead ends, or worse, booby traps. Bamboo spikes smeared with poison waited beneath thin floors, and water traps drowned intruders who took a wrong turn. For those who knew the maze, it was a lifeline. For outsiders, it was a nightmare. The survival tactics here were as ingenious as they were brutal. Cooks designed smokeless stoves that dispersed heat through underground channels, preventing detection from above. Scrap metal was repurposed into weapons, and discarded American uniforms became disguises. Even the soil dug from the tunnels was secretly scattered into nearby rivers to avoid leaving traces. This wasn't just engineering, it was psychological warfare, turning the earth itself into a weapon. Yet the real marvel lies in the resilience of the people who built it. With little more than hand tools and sheer determination, they carved out a world where sunlight meant danger and safety lurked in darkness. Today, parts of the tunnels have been widened for tourists, but the original passages remain a haunting testament to human adaptability. Standing in those cramped, humid corridors, you can't help but wonder, how far would you go to survive, and what does it take to outthink an enemy when the very ground beneath you becomes the battlefield? Beneath the sun-drenched islands of Malta lies a secret so haunting, it seems to echo across millennia. The Hypogeum of Ħal-Saflieni, a labyrinthine burial complex carved over 5,000 years ago, isn't just a tomb, it's a masterpiece of ancient acoustics. Descending into its shadowy chambers, you're met with walls so precisely shaped that sound behaves unlike anywhere else on Earth. Whisper a word in the oracle room, and it reverberates with an unearthly clarity, as if the stones themselves are speaking. Archaeologists still can't explain how Neolithic builders, with no formal understanding of physics, engineered this sonic marvel. Was it accidental, or did they possess knowledge lost to time? Some researchers believe the hypogeum's frequencies were tuned to alter consciousness, perhaps used in rituals to commune with the dead. The eerie red ochre paintings spiraling across the ceilings only deepen the mystery, depicting abstract figures that seem to dance in the flicker of torchlight. Half a continent away, another underground wonder shimmers with equal brilliance, but this one is carved not from stone but from salt. Poland's Wieliczka salt mine, active for over 700 years, hides a surreal world of chapels, chandeliers, and even statues, all sculpted by miners into the very salt they extracted. The crown jewel, the Chapel of St. Kinga, a cavernous space where every surface alters reliefs, even the candles, glows with the translucent gleam of rock salt. Miners spent decades chiseling biblical scenes into the walls, turning their workplace into a sacred gallery. But Wieliczka isn't just art, it's a testament to ingenuity. Ventilation shafts disguised as decorative towers keep the air fresh, while wooden supports preserved by the salt's antiseptic properties have stood for centuries without rotting. What binds these two sites together isn't just their beauty, it's how they transform necessity into transcendence. The Hypogeum's architects buried their dead but left behind a puzzle that hums with life. The miners of Wieliczka toiled in darkness but carved cathedrals to elevate their labor. One a tomb, the other a mine, both prove that even in the depths, humanity refuses to be ordinary. So which is more astonishing, the silence that speaks in Malta or the salt that shines like gold in Poland? Perhaps the answer lies not in choosing, but in realizing how both remind us that beneath the surface of history, wonder waits. Beneath the towering pyramids of Teotihuacan, hidden from the sun's gaze for over 1,000 years, lies a tunnel so charged with mystery that archaeologists still grapple with its purpose. Discovered beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent in 2008, this passage stretches nearly 300 feet into the earth, ending in a series of chambers filled with artifacts that defy expectations. What makes this tunnel extraordinary isn't just its depth, it's what was left behind. Thousands of meticulously arranged objects line the path, from jade statues and obsidian blades to seashells and rubber balls. These weren't haphazard offerings, they were carefully placed, almost like a symbolic map of the underworld. Researchers found miniature landscapes sculpted from mercury, forming shimmering pools that may have represented sacred lakes in Mesoamerican cosmology. The sheer variety of materials, some sourced from hundreds of miles away, hints at a network of trade and ritual that spanned continents. But who built this tunnel and why? Teotihuacan's builders left no written records, so every artifact is a clue in a silent puzzle. Some scholars believe the tunnel was a physical manifestation of the journey to the afterlife, a place where priests conducted ceremonies to commune with gods or ancestors. The presence of pyrite-covered walls, which would have glowed like stars in torchlight, supports this theory. Imagine initiates descending into a man-made cosmos, surrounded by flickering constellations. Others argue it was a political statement, a display of power meant to awe and intimidate, proving the ruler's control over both earth and underworld. Perhaps the most chilling discovery was the remains of sacrificial offerings, not just animals, but humans, positioned in poses that suggest theatrical reenactments of mythical events. Were these performances for the gods or warnings to the living? The tunnel's alignment adds another layer. Its entrance points directly to the Pyramid of the Sun, tying it to celestial events like solstices. This wasn't just a hole in the ground, it was a carefully calibrated instrument, blending astronomy, religion, and raw political theater. Teotihuacan's tunnel forces us to confront how little we truly understand about this ancient city. Its builders vanished long before the Aztecs arrived, leaving behind structures so advanced that later civilizations believed they were the work of giants. As we sift through the remnants of their world, one question lingers: what other secrets still lie buried, waiting to rewrite the story of the Americas? Buried beneath the bustling streets of Edinburgh's Old Town lies a shadowy world frozen in time, the Edinburgh Vaults. These cavernous chambers, built in the late 18th century as storage cellars for the city's thriving merchants, soon became something far darker. When the South Bridge was constructed above them, the vaults were abandoned, left to decay in the damp gloom, but not before they'd been repurposed into a haven for the desperate and the dangerous. Step into these dripping stone passageways, and you can almost hear the echoes of their grim past. Taverns and workshops once thrived here, but so did brothels, illegal gambling dens, and even body snatchers who stored stolen cadavers for medical schools. The air is thick with the weight of secrets of people who vanished into these tunnels, either by choice or by force. Some never left at all. Workers renovating the vaults centuries later stumbled upon skeletal remains, some showing signs of violent ends, others simply curled up as if waiting for a dawn that never came. But the physical horrors are only half the story. Locals and visitors alike swear the vaults are home to something unnatural. Cold spots appear out of nowhere, whispered voices trail just out of earshot, and shadowy figures dart beyond the reach of flashlight beams. One notorious spirit, the so-called Mr. Boots, is said to lurk in the darkest corners, his heavy footsteps echoing even when no one is there. Paranormal investigators have recorded disembodied laughter, sudden temperature drops, and even apparitions reaching out to touch the living. What makes the Edinburgh Vaults so uniquely chilling isn't just their history, it's how tangible the past feels here. Unlike ancient ruins softened by time, these tunnels seem to hold onto their pain, their desperation, as if the walls absorbed every scream and whisper. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying the oppressive energy that clings to these stones. Was it isolation that drove people to madness, or is there truly something supernatural clinging to the vault's dark corners? Maybe the answer lies in the stories still trapped beneath Edinburgh's feet, waiting, like so many before them, to be heard. Beneath the romantic boulevards of Paris lies a kingdom of the dead, the catacombs, a labyrinth of tunnels stretching over 200 miles, lined with the bones of nearly 6 million souls. What began as limestone quarries in the 13th century transformed into a macabre solution to the city's overflowing cemeteries by the late 18th century. Workers spent years discreetly relocating skeletal remains into these underground chambers, stacking femurs and skulls into eerie, artistic patterns that turned death into a chilling spectacle. But the catacombs aren't just a tourist attraction, they're a testament to desperation and ingenuity. During World War II, French resistance fighters used these shadowy passages to evade Nazi patrols, smuggling weapons and messages beneath the enemy's feet. Even today, illegal explorers known as cataphiles slip into forbidden sections, discovering hidden frescoes, secret pools, and even full-fledged parties in the depths. Half a continent away, the Odessa Catacombs tell a different kind of story, one not of rest but of rebellion. This sprawling network beneath Ukraine's port city dwarfs Paris with an astonishing 1,500 miles of tunnels carved from soft limestone over centuries. Originally mined for building materials, these passages became a tactical masterpiece during World War II, sheltering Soviet partisans as they launched guerrilla attacks against occupying forces. Unlike Paris's orderly bones, Odessa's tunnels are a chaotic maze with narrow corridors splitting into dead ends, hidden ammunition caches, and even makeshift hospitals carved into the rock. The resistance here didn't just hide, they lived underground for months, rigging traps, printing underground newspapers, and surviving in a world without sunlight. What unites these two sites isn't just their scale, it's how they reflect the extremes of human resilience. Paris's catacombs turned death into a silent guardian of history, while Odessa's tunnels became a weapon of the living. One is a carefully curated mausoleum, the other a battlefield frozen in time. Yet both force us to confront the same question. When pushed to the edge, do we seek refuge in the past, or do we carve our future into the earth itself? The answer might lie in the echoes still whispering through these tunnels, one in reverence, the other in defiance. Hidden deep in China's Zhejiang province, the Longyu Caves present one of archaeology's most stubborn mysteries, a colossal underground complex carved by human hands, yet absent from any historical record. Discovered in 1992 when a curious villager drained a local pond, these 24 caverns stretch across 30,000 square meters, their walls chiseled with such precision that tool marks form uniform, decorative patterns. The scale of labor here is almost inconceivable. Early estimates suggest removing nearly 1 million cubic meters of stone, equivalent to constructing the Great Pyramid of Giza, yet not a single document, legend, or even folktale mentions their construction. Who commissioned this mammoth project? How did ancient workers achieve such mathematical perfection without modern tools? The walls slope at exact 60-degree angles, while pillars are spaced with geometric consistency that defies the era's known engineering. Even more perplexing are the ceilings, adorned with parallel grooves that some researchers believe may have amplified sound for ceremonial purposes, echoing the acoustic wonders of Malta's Hypogeum. Theories about the cave's purpose range from imperial storehouses to clandestine military bunkers, but the absence of artifacts or soot stains rules out prolonged human habitation. One compelling hypothesis suggests they were part of a monumental ritual space, possibly linked to the Lost Yu civilization, which thrived in the region before being conquered in 222 BC. The Yu people's advanced boat-building skills could explain how they transported massive stone volumes, but why leave no trace of their work in local lore? Perhaps the greatest enigma lies in the cave's preservation. Despite being submerged for centuries, the walls show no water damage, hinting at an unknown drainage system. Meanwhile, the reddish mineral pigment coating certain chambers remains chemically unstable, its origin still debated. Were these caves meant to endure or designed to vanish from memory? As researchers laser scan new sections, each discovery deepens the riddle, proving that some tunnels guard their secrets not with locks but with silence. Derinkuyu's brilliance doesn't just lie in its depth, it's how this buried city functioned as a hub in a vast underground network. While the main complex descends 18 levels, recent explorations reveal hidden corridors that snake outward, connecting to at least 200 other subterranean sites scattered across Cappadocia. These weren't isolated bolt holes, they formed a seamless web of survival, allowing entire communities to vanish beneath the earth at a moment's notice. Take the 3-mile tunnel linking Derinkuyu to Kaymakli, another underground city just 5 miles away. This passage wasn't merely an escape route, it was a strategic lifeline. Wide enough for 3 people to walk abreast in places, yet narrow enough to bottleneck pursuers, it showcased the builders' understanding of both warfare and sociology. Ventilation shafts along its length kept air fresh, while hidden alcoves stored supplies for those fleeing. Some sections even feature rolling millstones identical to Derinkuyu's, suggesting a standardized defense system across the region. But the most astonishing detail, the network's adaptability. Each connected city had unique features tailored to its role. Kaymakli's higher ceilings and larger stables imply it served as a livestock depot during crises, while Özkanak's intricate communication tubes vertical shafts used to relay messages via tapping hint at a command center. Together, they formed a distributed civilization, one that could relocate populations, redistribute resources, and resist sieges indefinitely. Why invest such effort in these tunnels? The answer may lie in Cappadocia's volatile history. Persian armies, Arab invaders, even Mongol hordes swept through this region, but none could root out people who literally disappeared underground. The tunnels weren't just shelters, they were a psychological weapon. Imagine being an invading force conquering a village only to find it eerily empty, with no trace of life except whispers echoing from beneath your feet. Yet the greatest mystery remains unspoken in any ancient text. How did they coordinate such colossal projects across generations? Without blueprints or centralized rule, these builders achieved feats modern engineers would struggle to replicate. Perhaps the stones themselves hold the answer not in words, but in the silent logic of their placement, a language of survival etched into the earth itself. Beneath the quiet fields of northern France, near the village of Naures, lies a sprawling underground city that once sheltered thousands from the chaos of war. Carved from soft limestone over centuries, this labyrinth of tunnels stretches for miles, with chambers branching out like the roots of an ancient tree. Unlike the grand cathedrals above ground, Naures was built for survival. Its narrow passageways leading to bakeries, chapels, and even stables, all hidden beneath the earth. What makes Naures extraordinary isn't just its size, it's how meticulously it was designed for life underground. The ceilings, carefully arched to distribute weight, prevented collapses even during bombings. Ingenious air shafts disguised as natural fissures kept the tunnels breathable, while hidden wells provided fresh water. Families could live here for months, grinding grain in communal mills, worshipping in candlelit chapels, and tending to livestock in subterranean pens. The walls still bear the marks of those who sought refuge here, centuries-old graffiti from medieval peasants, soldiers from the 30 Years' War, and even World War I troops who etched their names beside those of their ancestors. But Naures wasn't just a hiding place, it was a mirror of the world above. The underground city had its own economy, with designated areas for blacksmiths, bakers, and butchers. Evidence of massive hearths suggests communal kitchens where meals were prepared for entire villages. And then there are the chapels, simple, solemn spaces where people prayed for safety, their whispers absorbed by the porous stone. One chamber, known as the Room of the Three Virgins, features a crude carving of three figures, possibly saints, hinting at the spiritual solace found in the darkness. The tunnels also reveal darker chapters. During the 100 Years' War, Naurs became a haven for villagers fleeing English invaders, only for some to be buried alive when entrances collapsed. In World War I, Allied and German soldiers both took shelter here, sometimes mere days apart, leaving behind uniform buttons, bullet casings, and poignant messages scribbled on the walls. Today, walking these passages feels like stepping into a time capsule, one where fear and resilience are etched into every corner. Why build such an elaborate refuge? The answer lies in the region's turbulent history. Northern France was a crossroads of conflict where armies marched and borders shifted. The people of Naurs didn't just dig tunnels, they engineered a parallel world, a testament to human adaptability in the face of relentless danger. And perhaps that's the most haunting question of all. If the earth beneath us can hold such stories, what else might still lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered? Beneath the cobblestone streets and Renaissance charm of Orvieto, Italy, lies a hidden world that whispers of civilizations long vanished. This picturesque hilltop town, famous for its stunning cathedral, conceals an underground labyrinth so vast that it rivals the city above. The Orvieto Underground isn't just a single tunnel, it's a sprawling network of chambers, wells, and passageways, carved over 2,500 years by the enigmatic Etruscans and later expanded by medieval hands. The Etruscans, a culture steeped in mystery, first hollowed out the soft volcanic rock beneath Orvieto to create cisterns, cellars, and escape routes. Their engineering was nothing short of visionary. Deep wells like the famed Pozzo della Cava tapped into underground aquifers, ensuring water even during sieges. But the true marvel lies in the precision of their work walls, smoothed to perfection, staircases spiraling into darkness with mathematical grace, and ventilation shafts hidden so cleverly that some were only rediscovered in the 20th century. When the medieval era dawned, Orvieto's underground took on a new life. Fear of invasion transformed these ancient tunnels into a fortified sanctuary. Families dug private cellars to store food and wine, while blacksmiths set up clandestine workshops, hammering weapons in the glow of torchlight. One chamber, known as the Pigeon Grotto, reveals hundreds of niches carved into the walls, a medieval dovecote designed to breed birds for food and communication. Yet the most haunting spaces are the ones that defy explanation. Hidden beneath a modern bakery lies a cavern with strange, circular pits etched into the floor. Some archaeologists believe these were used for tanning leather, while others argue they held sacred rituals, their true purpose lost to time. Then there's the eerie Room of the Oil Press, where colossal stone wheels hint at an industry thriving in shadow. What makes Orvieto's tunnels unforgettable is their duality. They're both utilitarian and mystical. The Etruscans dug for survival, but the medieval inhabitants left behind traces of superstition. Crosses scratched into walls, hidden altars, even markings that resemble ancient protective symbols. Walking these passages feels like flipping through layers of history, each turn revealing another chapter of human ingenuity and unease. Today, only a fraction of the labyrinth is open to the public, leaving much of its secrets still buried. But one thing is clear, Orvieto's underground isn't just a relic. It's a living testament to how civilizations across time have shaped and been shaped by the earth beneath their feet. And as the cool, damp air brushes your skin in the darkness, you can't help but wonder what other stories are waiting, silent, just beyond the reach of your flashlight. Cappadocia's landscape looks like something from a dream. Towering fairy chimneys, eroded into whimsical spires, dot the horizon, but the real wonder lies beneath. Carved into this soft volcanic rock are hundreds of tunnels and chambers, forming entire underground cities where communities thrived in secret for centuries. These aren't just caves, they're feats of social engineering. families lived, worshipped, and even raised livestock in these subterranean labyrinths, safe from the turmoil above. The tunnels twist and turn deliberately, some so narrow they could be blocked with a single rolling stone door, while ventilation shafts disguised as natural fissures ensured fresh air reached the deepest levels. Now shift your gaze to the Czech Republic, where the city of Pilsen hides a different kind of underground network, one built not for survival but for beer. Beneath its charming streets lies a maze of tunnels stretching nearly 15 miles, some dating back to the 14th century. These passages weren't just storage cellars, they were the lifeblood of Pilsen's brewing industry. The constant cool temperature and humidity created perfect conditions for fermenting lagers, and the tunnels allowed brewmasters to expand production without sacrificing quality. But there's a twist. Like Cappadocia, these tunnels also served as hiding places during wars. When Swedish armies besieged the city in the 17th century, locals retreated underground, smuggling supplies and, yes, barrels of beer through hidden passages. What unites these two sites, despite their vastly different purposes, is how they reflect human ingenuity under pressure. In Cappadocia, survival meant disappearing into the earth, while in Pilsen, commerce and culture found a way to flourish beneath the surface. One's corridors echo with whispers of ancient refugees, the other still smells of hops and barley, a testament to the enduring legacy of craftsmanship. So which is more remarkable, the city carved to protect lives, or the one dug to perfect a pint? Perhaps the answer lies in recognizing that both prove the same truth. When faced with challenges, humanity doesn't just adapt, it digs deeper. Deep in the heart of Mexico's colonial jewel, Guanajuato, lies a network of tunnels that tell a story of transformation from desperate necessity to modern marvel. Originally carved in the 18th century, these subterranean passages weren't built for secrets or shelter, but to tame a relentless force of nature, water. The city, nestled in a valley surrounded by steep hills, faced catastrophic flooding for centuries. After a particularly devastating flood in 1763 submerged entire neighborhoods, engineers devised a radical solution to divert the river itself underground. The result was a feat of hydraulic engineering ahead of its time. Workers painstakingly tunneled through bedrock, creating a channel wide enough to swallow the raging Rio Guanajuato during rainy seasons. But here's where the story twists. By the mid-20th century, modern drainage systems made the tunnels obsolete, so the city gave them a second life. Today, these same passages hum with traffic, transformed into a subterranean highway that weaves beneath Guanajuato's colorful streets. Cars glide through arched stone corridors where water once roared, their headlights illuminating walls still bearing the marks of pickaxes and time. Yet the tunnels hide more than just transportation. Some sections remain untouched by asphalt, their original cobblestones intact. These forgotten stretches have become a draw for urban explorers who venture into the damp darkness to find remnants of the past, rusted iron gates, faded graffiti from the 19th century, even the occasional abandoned shrine to saints once prayed to for protection from floods. But perhaps the most unexpected chapter of the tunnel's story is their role in Guanajuato's cultural rebirth. Every October, during the city's famed Cervantino festival, performers turn the underground into a stage. The acoustics of the vaulted stone amplify music and theater, creating an immersive experience where audiences walk the same paths floodwaters once did. It's a poetic full circle. A place born from disaster now pulses with art, proving that even beneath the weight of history, humanity finds a way to rise and reinvent. What makes Guanajuato's tunnels extraordinary isn't just their engineering, but their adaptability. They've been a lifeline, a highway, and now a cultural artery, each era leaving its mark on the stone. And as you stand in their cool shadows, listening to the echoes of car engines or a distant violin, you realize these tunnels aren't just relics. They're a living reminder that the past never truly disappears, it just finds new ways to flow. Beneath the sleepy Provençal village of Balban in southern France, an abandoned limestone quarry hides a secret one that bridges the sublime and the sinister. The Balban underground quarry stretches for miles in a network of caverns so vast their ceilings arch like the nave of a Gothic cathedral. But these weren't carved for grandeur, they were born from necessity. For centuries, workers chiseled away at the soft stone, extracting blocks to build the sun-drenched towns above. Then, in the 19th century, when the quarry was exhausted, something extraordinary happened. The hollowed-out chambers became a refuge for those who thrived in shadows. Smugglers and bandits were the first to claim the tunnels, their contraband hidden in alcoves where daylight never reached. By World War II, the French resistance had repurposed the space, storing weapons and sheltering fugitives from Nazi patrols. But it's the quarry's eerie beauty that lingers in the memory. Natural erosion has sculpted the walls into swirling patterns, while rainwater pooling in ancient tool marks creates mirrors that reflect the vaulted ceilings. Walking through these passages feels like stepping into a dream, one where the line between sanctuary and sorcery blurs. Local legends only deepen the mystery. Some claim the tunnels align with celestial events, their entrances catching the first light of the summer solstice. Others whisper of rituals performed here long before the quarry's industrial era, pointing to strange carvings that resemble pagan symbols. The most haunting tale speaks of a hidden chamber where resistance fighters once gathered, their voices still echoing in the damp air. Today, Balban's underground remains a paradox, a place of both terror and transcendence. The same walls that once trembled with the sound of pickaxes now host candlelit concerts, their acoustics magnifying every note into something almost supernatural. What does it mean when a space shaped by labor becomes a temple of sound, or when a hideout for the desperate turns into a canvas for the divine? Perhaps the quarry's true purpose was never fixed, but fluid, waiting for each generation to carve its own meaning into the stone. Beneath the quiet prairie streets of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, lies a labyrinthine world of secret tunnels that whisper of bootleggers, secret societies, and a forgotten chapter of Canadian history. These narrow, winding passages weren't just utility corridors. They were the lifeblood of a thriving black market during the 1920s, when prohibition turned this unassuming town into a smuggler's paradise. The tunnel's origins are as complex as their legacy. Some sections date back to the late 19th century, built as steam vents for buildings above, narrow, cramped spaces where maintenance workers could access pipes. But as the 20th century dawned, these forgotten passages took on a new role. When alcohol became illegal in neighboring U.S. states, Moose Jaw's proximity to the border made it a perfect hub for smuggling. Underground tunnels became highways for bootleggers who shuttled whiskey, gin, and rum to thirsty customers across the border. Hidden trapdoors in barbershops, tailors, and even churches disguised entrances, while false walls and dead ends confused anyone who dared follow. But the tunnels harbor a darker story, one of exploitation and resilience. Many were expanded by Chinese immigrant laborers who faced rampant discrimination and exclusionary laws above ground. Forced into dangerous, clandestine work, these men dug in near darkness, carving out spaces where they could live, work, and even worship away from the hostility of the surface world. Some sections still bear traces of their presence, makeshift kitchens with soot-stained walls, faded gambling dens, and hidden altars where joss paper ashes hint at prayers for a better life. The most enduring legend, though, is the rumor that Al Capone himself used these tunnels to oversee his operations. While historians debate the extent of his involvement, there's no denying the tunnel's strategic value. Secret meetings in underground chambers, coded messages passed through laundry chutes, and quick escapes through interconnected basements all paint a picture of a town where the line between legality and crime blurred into shadow. Today, Moose Jaw's tunnels are equal parts museum and memorial. Visitors can crawl through damp corridors where whiskey barrels once rolled, or stand in reclaimed spaces that now honor the Chinese workers who built them. The echoes here are layered laughter from speakeasies long silenced, the scrape of picks against stone, the muffled footsteps of those who moved through darkness to survive. These tunnels don't just defy explanation, they force us to confront the hidden costs of history and the untold stories buried just beneath our feet. Beneath the bustling streets of modern Liverpool, a labyrinth of tunnels winds through the darkness built not for transportation, shelter, or war, but seemingly on a single man's whim. The Williamson Tunnels, named after their enigmatic creator Joseph Williamson, stretch for miles in a chaotic web beneath the Edge Hill district, and here's the twist: no one knows why they exist. Williamson, a wealthy tobacco merchant in the early 19th century, spent a fortune employing hundreds of workers to carve these passages, some wide enough for carriages, others barely the width of a human shoulder. The tunnels feature arches built with meticulous craftsmanship, staircases leading nowhere, and dead ends that suggest either madness or method. But with no records left behind, their purpose remains one of England's strangest architectural puzzles. Was this the work of a philanthropist creating jobs during economic hardship, a devout man constructing a literal underground kingdom for the Second Coming, as some speculate? Or simply the obsession of an eccentric with endless resources? Williamson himself offered only cryptic replies, calling the tunnels his great work. Recent explorations have added new layers to the mystery. Sections of the tunnels align with lost medieval sandstone quarries, hinting at older origins. Some walls bear scorch marks, fueling theories of clandestine industrial use, while others contain hidden chambers with no apparent function, the most haunting discovery. A sealed room filled with perfectly preserved 19th century artifacts, clocks stopped at the same hour, furniture arranged as if waiting for occupants who never returned. Today, parts of the tunnels are open to the public, their rough-hewn walls whispering unanswered questions. Volunteers still uncover new passages, each discovery deepening the riddle. Whether a visionary's legacy or a rich man's folly, the Williamson Tunnels defy the most basic question we ask of history: why? And sometimes the absence of an answer is the most compelling mystery of all. Deep in the Carpathian Mountains of Romania, the tunnels of Roja Montana hold more than just gold. They cradle 2,000 years of history, conflict, and human ambition. This ancient mining complex, first carved by the Romans in the 2nd century, reveals engineering so advanced that modern archaeologists still marvel at its precision. Walking through its damp passageways, you can see grooves from Roman chisels frozen in time, their rhythmic marks telling stories of enslaved laborers who toiled under flickering torchlight. But the real genius lies in the details. The miners constructed intricate drainage systems using hollowed-out tree trunks to prevent flooding, and ventilation shafts angled to harness natural wind currents, techniques centuries ahead of their time. The gold extracted here built empires. Roman coins minted from Roja Montana's veins funded military campaigns across Europe, while medieval Hungarian kings relied on its wealth to cement their power. Yet the mine's legacy is as layered as the rock itself. Beneath the glimmer of treasure lies a darker narrative, collapses that buried workers alive, mercury poisoning from primitive refining methods, and the silent erosion of entire landscapes. The earth here is scarred, but it's also sacred home to chapels and folk traditions that sprang up around the industry, where miners prayed to saints for protection before descending into the abyss. Now, Roja Montana stands at the heart of a modern battle. In the early 2000s, a Canadian mining company proposed reopening the site with cyanide-based extraction, promising jobs but threatening to obliterate historic tunnels and displace the surrounding village. Protests erupted, with activists chaining themselves to machinery and UNESCO fast-tracking the area's World Heritage status to shield it. The conflict pits economic survival against cultural preservation, technological progress against ecological ruin. What makes these tunnels extraordinary isn't just their past, it's how they force us to confront uncomfortable questions. Can the hunger for resources ever coexist with respect for history? When does progress cross the line into plunder? As you stand at the mouth of a Roman shaft, staring into the same darkness that swallowed generations of miners, the weight of those questions lingers heavy as gold, sharp as a pickaxe's strike. Beneath the sun-baked streets of Malta, a labyrinth of tunnels winds through the island's limestone bedrock, silent witnesses to centuries of intrigue, survival, and whispered legends. These secret passages, carved by hand over millennia, have served as everything from clandestine escape routes for the Knights Templar to life-saving shelters during the relentless bombings of World War II. But what makes Malta's tunnels truly extraordinary isn't just their age or purpose, it's how they've absorbed the island's turbulent history like layers of stone. One of the most enduring legends centers on the Knights of St. John, the famed Hospitallers who ruled Malta from the 16th to 18th centuries. Beneath their imposing fortresses in Valletta, hidden staircases and narrow corridors twist downward, leading to chambers where the knights allegedly stashed treasures plundered from Ottoman ships. Some tunnels even connect to the Grand Master's palace, fueling speculation that they were used for covert meetings or swift escapes during sieges, the most tantalizing rumor. A secret passage supposedly runs beneath the Mediterranean, linking Malta to Sicily, a physical impossibility, yet a story that persists in local lore. But the tunnel's role didn't end with the Knights. When Mussolini's bombers darkened Malta's skies in 1940, these ancient passages became a lifeline for civilians. Families huddled in the cool, damp darkness as explosions rocked the island above, their voices echoing through chambers originally dug by Bronze Age settlers. The British military expanded many of the tunnels, adding reinforced rooms and emergency exits, while others were repurposed as storage for ammunition and medical supplies. In the coastal town of Melilla, an entire underground hospital was carved into the rock, its operating rooms illuminated by flickering lanterns as surgeons worked to save lives amid the chaos. Yet the mysteries don't stop there. Some of Malta's oldest tunnels predate recorded history, their origins lost to time. The Hypogeum of Ħal-Saflieni, a three-level necropolis carved over 5,000 years ago, descends into the earth like a sacred spiral, its walls adorned with ochre paintings of spirals and human figures. The acoustics here are so precise that chanting in certain chambers creates vibrations felt throughout the body, leading some researchers to theorize the space was used for rituals to commune with the dead. Nearby, the catacombs of Rabat stretch for miles, their early Christian frescoes and stone dining tables hinting at clandestine worship during Roman persecutions. What unites these tunnels across eras is their duality. They are both practical and profound. Whether shielding treasure or souls, their very existence speaks to Malta's resilience. Today, explorers still uncover new passages, some revealing artifacts like medieval swords or World War II ration tins, others ending abruptly at walls that may hide even deeper secrets. The real enigma: how many tunnels remain undiscovered, waiting beneath tourists' footsteps and bustling cafes, their stories still sealed in the silent dark. Recent excavations in Malta's tunnels have unveiled discoveries that blur the line between archaeology and enigma. In 2019, researchers mapping a previously uncharted section beneath Valletta stumbled upon a chamber filled with 17th-century medical equipment, glass vials, rusted scalpels, and ledgers detailing experimental treatments. The find suggests these tunnels may have served as clandestine labs for the Knights of St. John, who are known to pioneer battlefield medicine. But the real shock came when carbon dating revealed layers beneath the Knights' artifacts, pottery shards and tools from the Phoenician era, proving these passages had been repurposed across 3,000 years of history. Even more perplexing are the geometric patterns etched into certain walls, spirals and concentric circles mirroring those in the Hypogeum, yet found in tunnels miles apart. Could these markings be some form of ancient navigation system, or do they point to a shared ritual language lost to time? Modern technology has only deepened the mystery. Ground-penetrating radar scans in 2022 detected hollow spaces beneath the known network, suggesting vast, unexplored chambers. Divers have even searched underwater extensions near the Grand Harbor, where sonar images reveal tunnels descending sharply into the seabed, just like the legendary passage to Sicily. But the greatest question remains: why did so many cultures dig here? Unlike defensive tunnels or mines, Malta's labyrinth seemed to defy singular purpose. Were they shelters, sacred spaces, or something else entirely? With each discovery, the island's underground grows stranger, like a puzzle where every new piece makes the picture less clear. And perhaps that's the most compelling mystery of all. Not what we've found, but what the Earth still refuses to surrender. From the vast subterranean cities of Cappadocia to the gold-lined shafts of Romania, these tunnels share a remarkable truth: humanity's drive to survive is etched into the Earth itself. Whether carved to escape invaders, worship in secret, or harness precious resources, each passage reveals an unyielding instinct to adapt. The Derinkuyu complex, with its rolling stone doors and ventilation shafts, mirrors the same ingenuity seen in Malta's wartime hospitals or Vietnam's claustrophobic Khu Khai network, a mastery of space, air, and light in places where all three seem impossible. But survival isn't the only thread tying these tunnels together. Secrecy pulses through their walls like a second heartbeat. The hidden entrances of Moose Jaw's Prohibition era smuggling routes echo the disguised chapels of Orvieto's Etruscan tunnels, both built to shield forbidden activities from prying eyes. Even the acoustics of Malta's Hypogeum or Teotihuacan's mercury-lined chambers suggest knowledge meant only for initiate spaces where sound and symbol conspired to guard sacred truths. Most striking, though, is the engineering. These aren't crude holes in the ground, they're feats of precision that defy their eras. The Longyu Caves' laser-like angles and Scotland's Rosslyn Chapel tunnels, aligned with celestial events, hint at lost techniques or borrowed wisdom from older civilizations. How did builders without blueprints or modern tools achieve such perfection? The answer might lie in necessity's harsh tutor. When survival hangs in the balance, innovation doesn't wait for textbooks. Yet for all their similarities, each tunnel carries a cultural fingerprint. Guanajuato's flooded passages, reborn as highways, speak to reinvention, while Balban's quarry turned concert hall celebrates art's triumph over adversity. The Williamson tunnels, with their maddening dead ends, remind us that not all mysteries have rational explanations. Some are born from human quirks as much as human needs. What binds these stories isn't just stone and sweat, but the timeless choices we make when pushed to the edge. Dig deeper or be buried, hide or be hunted. Build for today or carve a legacy that outlasts empires. The Earth remembers these choices, one tunnel at a time. From the echoing chambers of Turkey's Derinkuyu to the silent, star-lined passageways beneath Teotihuacan, these 20 tunnels have taken us on a journey through time, stone, and human determination. Each one stands as a testament to the unyielding creativity of our ancestors, whether they were carving cities into volcanic rock, engineering rivers underground, or turning mines into sanctuaries of sound and light. The mysteries they left behind aren't just gaps in history, they're invitations to wonder. How did Bronze Age builders achieve acoustic perfection in Malta's Hypogeum? What compelled Joseph Williamson to spend a fortune digging aimless labyrinths beneath Liverpool? And what stories remain untold in the uncharted depths of China's Longyu Caves? But beyond the enigmas, these tunnels share a profound lesson. Necessity doesn't just breed invention, it births artistry. The medieval villagers of Naurs didn't merely dig to survive, they painted chapels in the dark. The miners of Roja Montana didn't just extract gold, they etched prayers into the walls. Even in the direst circumstances, war, persecution, disaster, humanity doesn't just endure. It builds, it adapts, and it leaves behind puzzles that spark our imagination centuries later. So now we turn to you. Which of these tunnels gripped you the most? Was it the spine-tingling whispers of Edinburgh's vaults, or the cosmic precision of Mexico's mercury-lined passageways? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're as curious as you are. And if unraveling history's riddles fuels your curiosity, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The past is full of stories still waiting to be unearthed, and we're just getting started. After all, the ground beneath our feet isn't just earth and rock. It's a library, a theater, a battlefield, and every tunnel is another page begging to be read.